At this point, it's not shocking anymore when Howie Roseman makes a monster trade. Just expect it at this point. It is. Big trade. We're breaking it down today. And the Phillies' lifeless performance in game 6. Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live with your thoughts, opinions, and comments. 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Live, Facebook, YouTube, you know the drill. Hit those like, share, subscribe buttons. Get everyone in the conversation. It's free to do it. Likes, shares, subscribe. Do that. Because Trending in the AM, it's the number one morning show in Philadelphia and the only one where your opinions actually matter. We got lots on the agenda today. Eagles, Howie Roseman, big trade. Excited to talk about it. Excited to talk more Eagles after yesterday. We had a great conversation on the show yesterday. We are going to talk lots of defense today with the big trade. We are going to dabble in the disappointment of the Phillies in game 6 and body language when things get down. There's an interesting comparison to what the Eagles are versus the Phillies from last night, from what I saw. So we'll dive into that a little bit as well as the show goes on. What is up, Troy? How you doing this morning? Long time no see. You want an apology? The 49ers are still a good team. I know Matt Chatter's going to be all over spamming the comments today saying how he said the 49ers were frauds. Yeah, they lost, and it was bad. Eagles are still better and still the class of the NFC. 49ers are still a damn good team. Eagles sit atop of the NFC, baby. Baby, that is correct. And not only that, so here's how I sum up the Eagles after yesterday. The Eagles go and hold one of the most prolific offenses in the NFL to under 300 yards. They hold the greatest wide receiver in the NFL to under 100 yards. They force the Dolphins, this great offense, to only one offensive touchdown in a game. And what does Howie Roseman go out and do? He goes out and trades for 2-time All-Pro safety Kevin Byard. Show's over. I'm done. I'm out. You know, it's that crazy and exciting what happened yesterday. And for what, like, I'm going to be in love with this trade. You're going out and you're upgrading Terrell Edmonds, who left in this trade. Great. But not only did you upgrade massively at safety, and we have to have realistic expectations for Kevin Byard. We'll get into that in a minute. But Howie Roseman turned a 5th and a 6th round pick and a not so good anymore safety in Terrell Edmonds into Kevin Byard. That is what's shocking. That it only cost you a 5th and a 6th. We're talking about 1st round picks and 2nd round picks for Buda Baker or Jeremy Chin. You traded a 5th and a 6th. All right, a 30-year-old safety. Not the all-pro he once was, but still much better than what you have. Howie Roseman, man, masterclass again as a GM. I need you to put the Joel jersey in the back for good juju. It's back there. Oh, rearrange it. Yeah, all right, I got you. We'll do a Thursday. We'll do a Sixers preview show. We'll really dive into the start of the Sixers season upcoming on Thursday. I'll make sure I rearrange the jerseys a little for that. Henry next for Barnett, Quez in a 6. That's really the question of the day. Not just how much do we love the Kevin Byard trade, but is Howie done? You got 7 days. That's 1 week. Don't get that reference. You'll never get me. That's 7 days, man. 1 week till the deadline. Is Henry next? Is there another deal next? Look, if I'm the Titans, I don't know why the Titans even answered when Howie Roseman called. I don't think they answer again if they call looking for Derrick Henry. Just saying. A great pickup. I love the move. Howie is the GOAT. And we always talk about Howie, the cap genius. Howie, the master money maker. Howie, the trade machine, is actually his number one asset. He knows a way to hold firm and get just better value than the other team in a trade. I don't think on paper he has lost a trade in a long time. Since the Golden Tate trade. I don't think he's lost the trade. The guy is pretty damn good. Harper looking. Harper looking like what? Yes. Jamal, what's up? Let's talk that talk. Dude, I'm excited. Like, I was already excited after Sunday night's game. The way we were able to dominate a great team. Because let's not take anything away from the Dolphins. They are still a very, very good team. A prolific offense. And our defense dominated. Like, I wasn't excited about the 31 points on offense. I was excited how the defense performed against the Dolphins offense. And then you went out and added an all-pro level guy to your defense for pennies. Pennies on the dollar. Super exciting. Huge move by Howie. I mean, Howie Roseman gets so much credit, but I still don't think it's enough credit. I'm still pissed off about the Phillies. Dude, I am so pissed off about the Phillies, Troy. Yesterday was a pathetic performance. And you know what? The Eagles were not performing well on Sunday at first. How Jalen Hurts had the interception, had the fumble. But you did not see the body line. The Phillies, when the second inning happened and Aaron Nola gave up 3 runs. And you know what? Let's give Aaron Nola some credit. He was getting rocked in that second inning. He settled down third, fourth, into the 5th inning, looked really good, kept the team in it. But as soon as we went down 3-0, the fan base at the park went stone cold quiet, and the body language. You see the Eagles go down in the game, their body language doesn't change. They still keep fighting, determined. They look the Phillies, the body language of the fielders and hitters after we went down 3-0. You would have thought they were down 25-0 in the bottom of the ninth. Like, they did not care. They thought the Diamondbacks were just going to roll over and play dead for us. They didn't. I'm pissed. I'm really pissed about the Phillies. And now you got a Game 7. And who knows what happens in Game 7. They lose into NFC teams now. I could see AFC, but NFC. Eagles are easily number 1 in the NFC without a shadow of a doubt. Jamal, is this now a better team than last year's 70 sack team? That's an interesting question, Jamal. Is this team better than the 70 sacked team? Yeah, I mean, overall the defense is better. I mean, they just are. They're more they're better all around as a defensive unit. They're better coached. Sean Desai, we started talking yesterday on the show, Jamal, that Sean Desai is not getting enough credit for the way he's got this defense playing. And I think Sunday night kind of opened up some eyes for some people. And I think it's a positive for sure. So the defense is better. Look, the 70 sacks are flashy, but total yards, points per game, all that stuff is better now than it was last year. You just don't have the flashy sacks. You're still getting sacks. You got 2 guys with 5.5 sacks, and Josh Sweat and Hassan Reddick. So Jalen Carter is the number 1 graded defensive tackle in football, not out of rookies, out of all football. Your defense is better. And getting Kevin Byard makes them even better. Because now you're not – now, as soon as Reed Blankenship's back, you've got Reed Blankenship, Kevin Byard, and then Sidney Brown. Justin Evans drops down, if he ever gets healthy, to the 4 spot. Now the question is, does Howie do more? Edmonds stinks. Yeah, I said that before the season. I didn't even want to make it my 53-man roster to start the season. Vikings have 0D, but yet they locked down that San Francisco 49ers offense last night. Mr. Primetime, Kirk Cousins. Who would have thunk? 49ers are not frauds. They're just not as great as 49ers fans think. The thing about the Niners defense is when they play bad, they go to a level of horrible. You can point back to their loss to the Eagles last year when that vaunted defense looked pedestrian. I think that's fair. It's very fair. Your defense, when it's bad, I mean, how I don't know, man. Like, I'm lost on this 49ers team. Like, they're on paper, they're super talented. They got this great system in place. Yet, you don't lose to Kirk Cousins on primetime TV. Kirk Cousins is one of the most unclutched quarterbacks of the last 25 years. When it's primetime, Sunday night, Thursday night, Monday night, anything, he's terrible. We've seen it in the playoffs. Terrible. When the lights shine at the brightest, the Vikings stink because of Kirk Cousins. Now, a 1 o'clock game, sure, he'll put up 400 yards of passing, and they'll win some games. Look, the Vikings are actually a pretty solid team with Justin Jefferson. They don't even have Justin Jefferson anymore. Then the 49ers lost. That is shocking to me. That's it. This is an apology stream. I'm not making any apologies for something that didn't happen. The GOAT, Muhammad Howie, Hollywood Howie. We got him Roseman. Dude, Howie Roseman is just, oh man, he's just special. He is. And to think of where he was 5 years ago in this city, Harper looking and not swinging, Brandon Marsh not swinging. How do you end a game? How do you end a game in the playoffs by staring at strike three? Brandon Marsh, I know you've been good this year. How do you do that? I hate that. I hate when a game ends on a called third strike. You got to swing at it. You got to. I'm going to need you to rearrange the jerseys before game 7. Look, I need you. Okay, so we got Sugar Shane Falco. We got Joel Embiid. We got Roy Halladay. We got Lane Johnson, Dallas Goedert, Jimmy Butler, and I do have a James Harden one back there too. I got a Donovan. Somebody send me a picture or a graphic with how you want my jerseys arranged. And that'll be the thing. You want this jerseys arranged a certain way for a show? I'll do it. You just got to send me the order you want them in back there. What is up, Adam? Good morning. I know you're feeling great about the Eagles and a little down on your Phillies, just like me. Eagles are number one if you promise to cover Kelsey. Well, I don't care how you try to cover Kelsey. It seems like even my point on Kansas City has always remained the same. Everybody knows the ball's going to Travis Kelsey. Everyone knows Travis Kelsey is one of the greatest receivers of all time. I said receivers because that's what he is. Yet he's still open every single play. Teams build their entire week's game plan around stopping Travis Kelsey, yet he still ends up with 100 yards all the time. All the time. We will get them today for sure. Let's go Phillies. I hope so. I hope those guys look themselves in the mirror today. The offense, not the pitching, the offense. And go, we got to be better. They were just atrocious, lifeless, bad swings at pitches, staring at strikes down the middle, swinging at pitches in the dirt. The Phillies offense, not the pitching. Yeah, I know Aaron Nola gave some runs yesterday. The offense changed the complexion of this series. And it goes to my theory with the Sixers last year, all the time with the Phillies. When you give a team that you got on the ropes, this is like going back to the Sixers-Boston series. You've got the Boston on the ropes, and you give them a little bit of breathing room. Shit happened. The Phillies had the Diamondbacks on the ropes. They had the Astros in the World Series on the ropes. Then they gave the other team a little breath of fresh air that we got a chance. You give confidence to a team that's got nothing to lose. It's a scary situation. And the Phillies just did that to the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks are going to be playing free and loose tonight. The Phillies, all the pressure's on them. We'll see. I'm not saying the Phillies lose tonight. Let's go Phillies for sure. But let me tell you something. The pressure is squarely on their shoulders. And Ranger Suarez got a lot on his plate tonight, for sure. Chasing Kelsey is the devil. He might have sold his soul. I mean, he sold his soul to Taylor Swift. Did anybody see the Madden cover picture that I shared on social media yesterday? I'm going to put it up on the screen for those that didn't see it. This is hilarious. I'm going to pop this up on the screen real quick. Then we'll get back to the comments here in a second. Not that one there. There we go. Yes. I wonder if the Madden cover jinx is going to do anything for Taylor Swift. This has to be one of the funniest things I've seen on social media in a long, long time. I absolutely love it. There's no way you can't find this extremely hilarious. All right, let me take that off my screen there. Don't need to lag the computer for a shared screen. Phillies better come out hitting and scoring, or the fans will be letting them know how they feel. Absolutely. Absolutely. All the Phillies need to do is survive the first inning. Look at the Astros. Their starting pitcher didn't make it through the first inning. Well, we got roughed up in the second inning last night, so we got to survive the first couple innings. We got to get some runs on the board. Put Joel in the back. That is the fam. That is it, fam. I don't know, man. Joel is still the face of the Sixers franchise as we are days away from this next season, the 2023-2024 NBA season kicking off. Giannis signed a huge 3-year, $186 million. So him and Dame Lillard, the next 4 years in Milwaukee together. That was interesting. Falco and Halladay in front of Joel. They could just be staggered, I don't want to hide Joel's picture. I don't. Brock Mania Purdy, pandemonium Brock Purdy has finally started losing some games. Finally caught up to him. Brock Purdy's so pedestrian, my man, my guys. He's so pedestrian, and I'm glad. I'm glad to say it. I'm glad to say it. But I'm not going to revel in 49ers fans tears. I'm not. I'm not going to jump up and down. I'm not going to be singing in the rain of 49ers tears. I'm focused on my teams and my city. We'll face the 49ers in a few weeks, and we'll run them out. That's what we'll do. They're proving that they're pedestrian. Travis Kelce putting that double move on Epps is my sleep paralysis monster. Yeah, I mean, you got to start preparing now because it's going to be Chiefs Eagles again in the Super Bowl. It really is a good chance of that. Philly, adjust the jerseys. We want the win today. I'm not going to do it midstream. Do you guys want me to get up midstream to adjust the jerseys? I'm not going to do that. I will adjust them before the show tomorrow. Momentum is all about how well the pitchers play. If Ranger gets rocked early, then no chance we win. Zach Wheeler should be available. I agree. Zach Wheeler should be available in the relief tonight for 1 inning. 1 inning. He should be available. We'll see if they use him or not. It depends on how the game plays out, whether you do or not. Yeah, we try to have fun on this show. It's not just hardcore, serious talk. We do a little bit of, you never know, Jamal, where the conversation is going to go in the morning show. There are some random topics and random comedy in this show. Stupid Madden and the Satan game ruined Allen. That's right, Allen was the Madden cover guy this year. Just tuning in and went to bed early. What happened? The 49ers lost. Minnesota beat them. The Phillies stunk it up last night. But the Philadelphia Eagles added 2-time All-Pro safety, Kevin Byard. And I'm pumped. They need to trade James Harden. We're going to do an all Sixers show, well, most Sixers show later this week. Now the new rumor coming out of being leaked out of James Harden camp is that James Harden's going to want to retire if he doesn't get traded soon. Good. Retire. I don't give a rat's ass. Just stop being a distraction. Howie Roseman needs to take his golf cart across the street to the Wells Fargo Center, get in the elevator, go up to floor 6 or whatever it is, go into Daryl Morey's office and say, Daryl, go get me some coffee, give me your phones for a few minutes. He'll have James Harden trade it, and we'll have 10 first-round picks returning in turn. And he'll have that deal done in 5 minutes. He'll call Oklahoma City and get every single draft pick from Oklahoma City. They got 37 of them over the next couple of years. He'll do it. But Daryl Morey just can't seem to get the job done. All right, bro, I got to get to work. Hey, Troy, have a great day, my man. Great tuning in for the first 15, 20 minutes. Plug us into your car on the way to work. You can keep listening to all the fun. Can we get Barnett out of here? I thought Nolan Smith played better. Like, everybody's down on Derek Barnett and wants more Nolan Smith. Everyone thinks that Derek Barnett is playing too much. Nolan Smith had 4 snaps on Sunday night. He had 1 sack. Derek Barnett only played like 10 snaps. It wasn't like Derek Barnett played as much as people think. He also played really well in the run game. He blew up a play in the backfield in the run game. I'm not saying I need more Derek Barnett. Take 2 or 3 snaps away from him, give him to Nolan Smith, whatever. But it's not like Derek Barnett's out there hurting the team. And it's not like Derek Barnett's out there much. He's playing 10, 12% of the snaps. Nolan Smith's playing 5% of the snaps. I mean, it's inconsequential at this point. And honestly, Nolan Smith wasn't even brought in here to be a viable part of this defense this year. He was brought in here for the future. So it doesn't bother me one way or another. I do think Derek Barnett is on the trade block right now. And Howie Roseman is trying to use Derek Barnett as a trade piece to sweeten a pot. Because, look, Derek Barnett, we think he's a bust. We think he's underachieved in his career here. But he's still got talent that the NFL values. Pass rushing talent is valued in the NFL. That's why guys like Vinny Curry hung around so long in the NFL. You know, below average guys that could get after a quarterback are valued. So I saw earlier in the comments, and I've seen on Twitter people saying go trade for Derrick Henry. Not saying yes or no on Derrick Henry, but a draft pick and Derek Barnett, does it get Derrick Henry? Maybe it gets Nolan Smith on the field, but I'm not living and breathing by whether Derek Barnett gets 2 less snaps and Nolan Smith gets 2 more. That's all at this point. Good morning, Eric. Welcome to the show. I got your link. I checked it out. a little bit yesterday at work. Then I got busy and didn't catch the whole thing. But man, I appreciate it. Um, Phil stunk up the bank. 49ers game. Cousins his first primetime win in the last few years. Eagles got safety help. I mean, Duck, that sums up the show. Can I call the show early? That's it. That's the whole. That is literally the entire conversation today, right there on the screen. It wasn't bedlam at the bank. It was depression at the bank. The 49ers got punched in the mouth by Kirk Cousins. And the Eagles just took their very, very good defense and made it even better. Just think about this. Howie Roseman saw what the Eagles defense did shorthanded against a vaunted Dolphins offense. It's like, hang on a second. I'm going to get you even more help there, Sean Desai. I'm going to go add Kevin Byard to your team. Sean Desai's like, okay, sure. Thanks, buddy. No problems. What garbage team, desperate to sell seats, would want Harden? A lot of teams would want Harden for the money aspect of it, of all aside. James Harden equals money. Ticket sales, merchandise sales, promotional sales, advertising sales. James Harden is still a big money ticket. He's not the big money player he used to be, but he's still a big money ticket. He still attracts a lot of attention. So there are plenty of teams that want him. And let's be honest, we shit on James Harden all the time on the show because we're frustrated with him. He's still outside of the two bad playoff games at the end of the season, games 6 and 7 against Boston. James Harden was still a very, very effective player. Not superstar, top 5 in the NBA superstar, but he was still a borderline all-star. Teams could do much worse at point guard than James Harden. Just say. They packed it in early for today. He should have been retired or kind of option and signed a $200 million contract to play in Dubai. I think they offered him like $800 million actually. Something insane. No, Barnett just stinks, does nothing. He actually had some pretty effective plays against the run this past week, and he has all year. He has I don't even think he has a quarterback pressure yet. But honestly, it's not like he's on the field that much. That's the thing. Barnett is played just fine. He's a quality player. We're just sour on him because of we're sour on him because of that. We're sour on him because of the penalties in the past. Not going to he has not committed a single penalty yet this year. Okay? He has no sacks, but he's got no penalties. So Barnett's playing fine in a limited role. We don't need him to be this big-time player. We don't need Nolan Smith to be this big-time player right now. Even if you flip-flop them, play Dirk Barnett 4 snaps and Nolan Smith 10 snaps, it's not going to change anything. This defense is built around Fletcher Cox, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat, Zach Cunningham, Nakobe Dean, Kevin Byard, Reed Blankenship, Darius Slay, James Bradbury. That is what this defense is built around. Your last 2 guys in the rotation and throw in Marlon Tupelodu, those guys don't mean the difference of anything on this team. They're just there to give guys rests, to give guys breathers, which I would like. I was seeing the snap count. Fletcher Cox again, upper 70s in percentage of snaps played on Sunday night. I need to see the Eagles do something with the rotation that we maybe knock Fletcher. I need Fletcher Cox in January, in February, full strength. Maybe it's time for Sean Desai to kind of think about the snap count on Fletcher Cox a little bit. Duck, in that world. Yeah, exactly. Henry for Barnett. That doesn't get it done. You're going to have to throw in another draft pick. And even after trading 2, and the fact that we only traded a 5th and a 6th round draft pick for Kevin Byard is great. We still have 8 more draft picks next year. We have our 1st round pick. We have 2 2nd round picks. We got a 3rd round pick. We had 4 5th round picks. Now we have 3. We had 2 6th round picks. Now we have 1. We still got a lot of ammo. How we could package 2 more 5th round picks and a player like Dirk Barnett and go either at a wide receiver, another tight end, or running back. Wouldn't mind some offensive line depth, another safety or cornerback. I don't know. Howie's got plenty of ammo. You don't need 10 draft picks next year. You want to keep your 1st and 2nd round picks. That's what Howie's been hitting on and hitting home runs on. But you can trade as many of those 3rd, 5th, and 6th round picks you want. I have no problem with it whatsoever. I know Nolan Smith is a project, but he's fast as hell. Dude's speed is nasty for how massive he is. Yeah, look, I have no problem with how they're using Nolan Smith, keeping him, limited. Like there's no worries. the Nolan Smith, Dark Barnett conversation that's being brought up today is inconsequential to the overall success of this team. It literally moves the needle one way or the other minimally. Dark Barnett's fast. Dark Barnett's got a bright future in the NFL. It doesn't bother me one way or another. What is up, K1? Kenny Gainwell's burner account in the house. Sirianni does wing of an eagle on sidelines. Cooler. It's cool because he's on the Eagles. If he was another team, or if I was a fan of another team, I'd hate it. I don't understand the apology stream. There is no apologies that are needed right now. How cringe will it be next year when Taylor Swift and Kelsey break up? That Madden cover going to be hurt. The Madden jinx will strike again because they will break up. You gotta love the Madden cover. You gotta love whoever built that. I saw from my man Patty Bernard, Edge of Philly Sports. He shared it out. And I told him flat out, I'm like, yo, I'm stealing. I don't know where you got it, but I'm stealing this immediately. Not calling it my own, but man, hilarious. If everyone could do it, they would do it. Exactly. So much more on the tush push. Like, I'm so tired. We have to constantly have the tush push conversation. We do. And it's so nauseating. It's so stupid. It's a play that we do better than everybody else. So let's just stop. And I'm so nauseated by it. It's so stupid. Barnett is just fine. He played well for a mid-tier vet. We just crap on him because he was a first rounder, because he had so many penalties over the last couple years. Look, and Dark Barnett's coming off an injury. Let's not forget the fact that he's coming off an ACL tear. So the sacks and the initial burst, the fact that there's a little bit of a burst there. There was the one play that he blew up in the backfield on a run play on Sunday night, that he was right there in the middle of it, and he pushed the swinging blocker back into the running back. He didn't get credit for the tackle, but he basically forced the rush for a loss. The fact that he's got any burst after an ACL tear this early, I'll take it. It's a win. It's a loss. It's inconsequential, totally. Nolan Smith, 25.5%. Tyree Wilson, 22.3%. Will 20. What are these percentages, EC? I'm not even sure what those percentages are. But Nolan Smith's better than all those other guys in whatever it is. Traded Ben Simmons for 2 first picks and 2 first picks for James Harden. Darryl should retire with James. Dude, I was calling for James or him not to even get hired in the first place. So you're not going to have any argument on that one with me, mister. With that said, if we can get a young prospect at, and a bag of chips, I would send him and his $4 million cap hit right away. We can get anything for him. You send him. He's an extra asset at this point. You move him if you can, but if you can't move him, no big deal. Doesn't again, like I said, he doesn't move the needle one way or another. So it doesn't matter. What's the Phillies doing, bro? None of our teams can close a game 6 for nothing. Always got to let momentum die till game 7. Dude, the momentum, man. I tweeted out in like the 4th or 5th inning last night, the body language on the Phillies defenders. I was watching an inning and they were just standing out there sulking. They weren't running the bases hard. Like their energy level was so pathetic last night. Duck, he fine out of Philly. Take snaps from Smith. It doesn't matter. Like, do you want him to have 4 more snaps? Is 4 more snaps for Nolan Smith really going to make that much of a difference? I don't think so. Jordan, I love this comment. Jordan Davis is fast, strong human being. His jersey can't even contain him. I would love a Jordan Davis jersey. I love Jordan Davis. I love big girthy guys like that. That just are. It's like watching like Yokozuna do a spinning heel. Like guys his size shouldn't move the way he does. It's insane. It's when you have a super heavyweight doing flips and stuff in a wrestling ring. When this D gets healthy and hits its stride, Lord help him. Well, hopefully they get healthy for this crunch stretch that starts next week with Dallas. Got Washington this week, yeah. Washington is Washington, but when we start Dallas and Kansas City and San Francisco and Buffalo, we are healthy by that stretch. Lordy. Watch out, NFL. Jordan Davis is the Great Wall of Philly. He might be bigger than the Great Wall of China at this point, honestly, and he's harder to run through than the Great Wall of China at this play. Big play Slay. He heard you say Darius, and he woke up with a deep slumber. Yeah, that's right. Darius Slay with a big pick on Sunday night. It was great. Hard to believe tonight will be the Kyle, were you the one that sent me this first last night, or was it Adam that somebody sent me the DM on this last night? I cannot believe in the long storied history of the Philadelphia Phillies, one of the original 8 baseball teams, not one, not one game 7 in our history. Hey, it just goes to show how little we've made the playoffs in our lifetime. But the Philadelphia Phillies have never had a game 7. That's insane. It's something completely crazy that I never thought about, period. Anyone else like to apologize? Dude, stop. I knew you were going to be like that. That is funny. Yeah, Peanut's a funny guy. Funny like a clown. Barnett flopped like a fish, got pointed by Jets O-line. He done great. Are you serious? He stinks. He doesn't stink. He's okay. He's like the 8th guy out of 9 guys. It's him, Nolan Smith, and Marin Tupelodu. They play a combined half the snaps of some of the other guys. It's I think we're overreacting a little, EC1, to Dark Barnett and what he does and doesn't do. I might switch to Nakobe Dean burner account. Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean didn't play bad on Sunday night. The linebacker group as a core, as a whole, played pretty well. Core 12, Chat 12 is in the house. Uh, Chat, yeah. 12, yeah, all right, let's catch up here. All right, Kyle, what's our biggest team need now? That's an interesting question. What is the biggest need? And I see Marshawn says O-line depth, and I actually agree with that. I know everybody wants Dark Henry now, since we just made a trade with the Titans. You know, would it help us in red zone rushing? Sure. It would be a nice change. Like, look, no offense to K1, I know he'll get upset. Dark Henry would be an upgrade over Kenny Gainwell in those situations. But O-line depth, man. Still a Peta, upgrading him to Cam Jurgens, and then having a guy go out and find the best guy that could play guard and tackle that is available on the trade block. That's a swing player like that. Go out and get him. Upgrade Sewer Peta, upgrade Jack Driscoll. Hell, you guys keep saying trade Dark Barnett. I'd be okay if you're getting an offensive line depth somewhere, trading Jack Driscoll. Making excuses. I'm just being realistic that go watch the film from some of the run plays. There's plenty of highlight tapes out there. Dark Barnett hasn't been bad this year. He hasn't been great, but he hasn't been bad. There's a lot of negative feelings towards Dark Barnett. I like to keep it realistic. If he had the numbers he had now, but was playing 50 or 60% of snaps, yeah, I'd be right on board with you, EC. But he plays 10 plays a game. Doesn't bother me. He's inconsequential. Not wrong. Although Sua has looked good. He's looked good, Kyle, when Lane Johnson's out there. Then last week when he went down and Jack Driscoll had to fill on the right side, he didn't look as good. So, Sua Pate is only as good as the right tackle to his right side. So that's where we do need an upgraded depth. Because if Lane Johnson goes down long term, or say Jordan Mailata or Landon Dickerson goes down, we're like I don't trust the backups that we've got. We aren't skipping a beat. This team, thank God for the Eagles where they're at right now. Because if the Eagles had lost this week, this whole show would have been me bitching about the Phillies. But because of the Eagles win, because of the Eagles' big trade, I love it. Who else thought it was hilariously great that the news broke of the Kevin Byard trade right in the middle of Nick Sirianni's press conference? And he's finding out in the press conference, but won't talk about it because he doesn't even know the details of what happened. I love it. That is like perfect timing from Howie Roseman. Let's make the trade right in the middle of the presser. Brotherly shove solves red zone issues at the goal line. It's tush push. It will always be the tush push in my mind. Seward missed protection on that Lane Johnson sack. That wasn't Lane's guy to block. He had to adjust. So I was told by Twitter. Well, yeah. I mean, Twitter's always right. There are a million Twitter analysts that break down film. I choose one or two and just stick to them guys. Some of the better ones. And if I'm looking at offensive line talk, I'm looking at what Brian Baldinger says. And that's it. He's my go-to in that department. All my childhood life, I thought Yokozuna was Jack. So did I. When I don't know how old I was when I found out he was actually part of the Samoan bloodline. Like, I was not a kid anymore when I realized that. That was always so hilarious to me when I found that one out. I love big girthy guys like that. Yeah. Go ahead. Clip it out, Peanut. Clip it out. Post it all over social media. I'm an O-line guy. I love the trenches. That more money by going to our game. Thank you for ownership. Yeah, that's what baseball for sure. Major League Baseball wanted both Game 7s to make more money. Everyone's jumping on the money bandwagon. Could you imagine prime Yokozuna and just Stoutland? I'm behind, obviously, on the comments here because I talked about Yokozuna like 3 minutes ago. Now the comments are coming through. Um, yeah, I can imagine that. He'd be the greatest offensive lineman of all time. Stoutland and Yoku is the union we missed out. That would have been pretty damn funny. I won't lie. It would have been really, really. I mean, everything that we know now, absolutely, that would have been great. Barnett provides nothing. Gives Smith reps. Plays good against the run, and maybe the team doesn't think Nolan Smith's ready. Maybe O-line depth. This is interesting because if you look at Twitter, guys, everybody thinks we need a running back depth or another safety or cornerback. Like O-line depth, I'm so glad a couple of you actually agree with me that O-line depth is a big issue at this point. The O-line's getting old in spots, but I mean, two of our O-linemen are very old, and Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey. But Cam Jurgens, when he comes back, Landon Dickerson, and Jordan Mailata are all, under 26 years old? That's not old at all. Some of our offensive line hasn't even hit their prime yet. Marlon better than Barnett, 14th overall bust. But look, there's no debate that Derek Barnett's bust of a first-round pick. There's no doubt about that, EC. But to say that he's just a terrible player this year in the role he's being used in, I think he's just using your past frustrations of him is clouding your judgment on what he's actually accomplishing. Phil, the Core 12 is known as the Chat 12 on the Liam's channel. See, I don't watch a lot of Liam's show. That really falls right in the middle of my dinner rush at my restaurant. But Liam does great, and you guys represent the Core 12 as the Chat 12 really well over there on Liam's show. When I tune in and I see some of you guys comment over there, I love it. I love it. I don't care about the run plays. He doesn't hit quarterbacks, and he hasn't hit a quarterback yet this year. I get that. That's fine. That's an argument to be made. How many more years Smith got? He's going to be super expensive. Nolan Smith just got here. He's a rookie. Why are we even worrying about this? This is not the breakfast 12. The morning show 12 is fine. The Mad Hater, we drafted Smith same year as Carter. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Not gonna lie, I was working the game when Lane went down. I mean, it's a shame. I mean, but he's healthy now. You know what I mean? Well, healthy enough. He played this week, and it made a difference. And Suapeta was better with Lane Johnson out there. Obviously, someone says it was his fault that, that Lane gave up his first sack in 300 years, but it is what it is. Bradley, if Rangers pitching well tonight, Topper needs to leave him in for more than 5 innings. The bullpen worries me. Absolutely. Topper needs to have faith and just let Ranger pitch. The problem when you don't know how many innings you've got, you don't pitch your game. And he's like, I've only got 4 innings or 4.5 innings. I gotta leave it. No, just gotta let Ranger Suarez do his thing and pitch. And that's it. We got a lot of people watching, trending in the AM right now. We got 21 likes on YouTube, 5 on Facebook. There's over 30 people watching live. Make sure you hit that like button and that share button, whichever platform you're on. Hit follow or subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. We're here every single morning doing this. Didn't Steen play mostly right tackle in college? Yes, I believe he did. Duncan, it's a fantastic point. I'm not sure why Tyler Steen has nothing to do. He does nothing for the. He hasn't done anything yet. I think he dressed the last week or two because of some injuries, but I'm surprised that Tyler Steen hasn't been used in any asset or any way, especially with the injury to Cam Jurgens and Lane Johnson. I'm surprised. We haven't seen him. I don't understand. I understand why they're easing Nolan Smith along, but why aren't they? Why they're easing Tyler Steen so much? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on there. He played left tackle in college. Okay, sorry, I'm not sure there. I'm not sure what the deal is with him. I'm sure Nick knew they were making a move. They were making a move. I'm sure he knew. I'm sure he didn't know it was happening right in the middle of the press conference. The Philly scrum, always the Philly scrum. What do you like to call it? The butt scratch push or whatever? I don't even know. I'm sticking with tush push, guys. I'm sticking with tush push. Phil liked girth. Phil does like girth. Absolutely. Not only was Yokozuna Samoan bloodline, he was the tribal chief. He absolutely was. No, he was Japanese, damn it. I was just watching highlights from was it WrestleMania 10 when he beat Bret Hart and then Hulk Hogan beat him and if I was there, I'd have booed the hell out of that result. I was just watching that and I was thinking, what's his name, Inoki or whatever the guy was his manager. I'm like, dude, when this was happening live, I still thought he was actually Japanese. I'm extremely happy with the Byard trade, Zach. I think can we get back on we have we're 40 minutes into this show. This show is supposed to be about Kevin Byard being traded to the Philadelphia Eagles and what's next. And we've literally talked about Kevin Byard for like 3 minutes. Like that's it. The real tribal chief. That's right. Bonsai drop. That's right. The fact we gave him a ship player, their own pick bag, and then another late rounder for one of the best safeties in the league. Absolutely. I don't know if he's one of the best safeties in the league still at 30 or not. He's still up there. Is he an all-pro? No. Is he a pro bowler? Borderline. But he's still a massive upgrade on Terrell Edmonds. Massive upgrade. Phil is right. It's all about the hey, I love trenches. I love offense and defensive line. Yeah, of course Kelsey's old. So we've drafted his replacement already. We have 2 second rounders. I'm sure we will get some young O-line help with this upcoming draft. Absolutely. Howie will always find a great young offensive lineman early in the draft. Absolutely. Howie will invest 2 of our top picks in next year's draft in the O-line and D-line. That's an easy mock draft for Howie. Absolutely. Having a first rounder, 2 second rounders next year? Absolutely. Absolutely. Trending 12. Is that what we're calling it now? The trending 12? I like it. Dang it, Phil. Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is great. If Barnett is our issue after 7 weeks, then we are suffering from a first world problem. Absolutely, Peanut. This is spot on. I love you, EC1, but I don't think it's a big deal. The Dark Barnett hate is just coming from the frustrations of the past, not from what he's doing right now. Hoffman, Alvarado, and Wheeler are going to be our bullpen guys. Sewald to beat if he pitches tonight. That's 4 out of 5 games. Interesting points there. Would you guys feel comfortable if it comes down and we're up 5-3 in the bottom of the 9th? Do you let Zach Wheeler be the closer tonight and let him be the guy? That would cement him as the NLCS MVP. If he got 2 wins and then came out and got a save tonight, that would be very interesting. I subbed the show. Not sure if it's Peanut. It's 2 dudes. 2 dudes and a sex doll. You can't forget about Party Doll Dave. Hulk Hogan has no business beating Yokozuna. Absolutely. That was one of the worst moments. That was the first time I got pissed at a wrestling show. Won't need the tush push all the time if we can get Derrick Henry. Yeah. I want to know, do people really want Derrick Henry on this team? I know, K1, you love your Kenny G. But do we really want, if we're going to invest things anywhere on this team, is it really running back that we want? It's offensive line help. A lot of us agree with that. You can never have too many pass rushers. I wouldn't mind another depth at cornerback. I know we've made some moves, but I would love more. I'll take another safety at this point. Why not? If we get King Henry, call Howie Titans Eagles GM. I don't understand. We fleeced them on the AJ Brown trade. Is it still even the same GM? I don't know. But I don't know how the Titans would answer the phone when Howie called and give up a great player for a 5th and 6th round pick. Howie plays chess. The rest of the league plays checkers. Byard was ranked 34th of the top 100 NFL players in 2022. He was that high last year? For some reason, I don't remember him being that highly rated, but I won't fact check you, mister. I will trust you on that. I will. Seriously dropping some knowledge bombs. Peanut's not just a funny guy, he's a smart guy too. Don't tell him that though. We have champagne problems if we're having a Barnett Smith conversation. Absolutely agree with you on that. Absolutely. Phil, we are 10-2. Roll Kimbrel out there. If we're up to they rolled him out there down 5-1 last night. I didn't even like that. Party Doll Dave getting some love this morning. Yeah, actually, I love Party Doll Dave. Absolutely. Rumors. The Kevin Byard trade has many people wondering just how many players the Titans will make available, says Jeff. Yeah. Expect teams to call. Yeah, I know teams are calling on Derrick Henry. I just wonder whether Derrick Henry is necessary. Is he the guy that's necessary at this point? My thing is also, if he's available, there's a lot of teams that could use a running back. Other fringe playoff teams that could use a running back. I'm not investing that much into him. Now, my other question on the whole entire situation, I'm not a cap guy. I'm not a contract guy. I struggled to even figure out what Kevin Byard's contract was. I figured it out after a while. But do we even have any cap space left to bring in a guy that costs as much as Derrick Henry? He's the human push. Exactly. Henry is too expensive. We are paying for 4 running backs that are good to very good what most teams are paying for 1 running back. Absolutely. And that's the thing. I don't know if we could even afford Derrick Henry at this point. Um, Derrick Henry would make you dominant number 1. We're already dominant number 1 without a shadow of a doubt. I don't think we need Henry. He's going to be hurt by Christmas. I want to see, that's an interesting thing that you made me think of here is that we always talk about running backs and how they run down, their bodies wear down so quickly. Like, it doesn't seem like Derrick Henry is wearing down anywhere near as quickly as other running backs that run as much as he has over his career. Barnett a bum. You people crazy. I love you, man. You're here all the time. I appreciate your support, my man. We are going to strongly agree to disagree on that one right there. At work, fam. Love you. Hey, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Have a great day at work. He better than Stankwell. Oh, don't make any Gainwell comments. Are we still pushing the Derrick Henry to Philly narrative? Didn't that start in June? Like, it really might have started in June, the Derrick Henry narrative, and we're still talking about it. But it's because Howie's getting aggressive now. Aggressive Howie is great Howie. Howie's so perfect. Howie is always thinking the future, now, down the line. He's thinking of everything. He stacked up all these draft picks, and just like in 2017, he went out and made great additions mid-season. He's not afraid to go all in. The Eagles are on the cusp of returning to the Super Bowl, just like the Phillies are. There's still a chance. I'm not totally all out on the Phillies. I'm a little down in the dumps after last night, but I'm not out. Howie Roseman, when he sees the opportunity, he goes all in. And Derrick Henry's an all-in type move. Going and getting Derrick Henry, it's overkill. If you trade it, I'm not trading a 3rd-round pick for him. But if you're going to trade another one of those 5th-round picks and say a Derek Barnett, sure, that's an all-in type move. That's just overkill, though. Like, it's not like I'd rather trade Derrick Henry or Derek Barnett and that 5th-round pick for another cornerback or a backup offensive lineman. That's just me. Derrick Henry would be overkill on this team. I still think Howie trades for Brian Burns or Danielle Hunter even after the Vikes win. What are the Vikings? Now they're up to 3-4 now in the season. I had them winning that division. They're better than their record said they were. Justin Jefferson being down hurts them. I still think they're a pretty solid team. I don't know if they're sellers at the deadline. I still think they can win that division over the Lions. And look at the Lions; they got smoked by the Ravens. So I don't know if the Vikings are in trade mode. I don't. I don't think the Vikings are in trade mode. We have roughly $2 million in cap space left. All right. Well, that tells you a lot of what Howie could do. I mean, if you trade a player like Derek Barnett in a deal, it frees up some more cap space, or you offer a better draft pick in the trade for the other team to eat some of the contract. I guess that's what you do. Swift is good. Swift is better than good. Swift is great. What are they doing with Penny? He hasn't played yet. Been over this before, Adam. Penny was brought here to be the running back. Then all of a sudden, DeAndre Swift became out. They're like, shit, we can do DeAndre Swift. And I think they thought Penny would probably get cut. He didn't. He made the team. He's being saved if somebody gets hurt. If DeAndre Swift goes down or for a long period of time, you got Penny there waiting in the wings. Maybe Penny gets traded. If a roster spot has to open up, maybe he gets cut. I don't know what goes on with Penny. But Penny basically became extra as soon as they traded for DeAndre Swift. So, and he's just there's always a 53rd man on every team. He's just the 53rd man right now. So it is or maybe he just doesn't show the burst in practice anymore. Anyone, can you keep Devontae Smith and AJ? Absolutely. If anybody can keep Devontae Smith and AJ Brown on the same team, it's Howie Roseman. I don't worry about it at all. I worry about Peanut. He might fold under question. I worry about Peanut because he's a cheater, but that's another story for another day. Yeah, if you want to bring in Jimmy, I've had him on this show in the past. He knows his numbers very, very well. I think he got banned from Twitter or something like that. That was the only way I could communicate and DM with him. And I thought about him. I couldn't. I know he created a backup account when his main account got locked out and shut down. But he does do great work. He used to post so many great cap things on Twitter, and I don't know what happened to him. I don't know. He must have gotten into a heated battle. He was a very passionate guy, and he got into a heated battle about something, and he got kicked off of Twitter. I know that. Good morning, guys. What's up? Underestimate the special snack and being starting at the thumbnail for an hour. Special snacks early in the morning. Um, if we burns Barnett out of here, same Hunter, but let's do it. Look, yeah, sure. If you want to upgrade Dark Barnett, that's fine, but you don't have to. No one's going to give up Henry for Barnett and 4 or 5. I absolutely agree with you, and that's why I'm not doing it, because I'm not giving up a second or third rounder for Dark Henry. If DeAndre Swift wasn't having the season he was having, then I'd be considering it. But it's I love improving the team. I love the philosophy of going all in, but excess isn't necessary when we're because you got to think that we're working on this team for this year. We're going all in to win a Super Bowl this year. But Howie's got his eyes on the next 2 to 3 years, and Mad Chatter brings up a point. You got Devontae Smith, you got Landon Dickerson, you got a lot of names. Hassan Reddick, Jordan Davis is only 2 years away from being a re-up. You got a lot of guys that are going to have to get re-upped. You can only spend so much money. So what you need is draft picks to replace some of these guys when they move on. That's a constant rotation. It's a business. And you don't need to overkill for Derrick Henry at this point. Rumor has it Vikes are selling to rebuild just like the Titans. I don't buy it as much as the Titans. They might be calling around and thinking about it, but I'm not sure I buy that they would completely sell the farm at this point. Unless somebody calls, say the Jets, and says, yo, we'll give you a top pick for Kirk Cousins, or if some team that needs a quarterback, Washington calls and says, we've moved on from Sam Howell, can we get Kirk Cousins? Unless they traded Kirk Cousins. Then if they traded Kirk Cousins, sure, then they'll sell the rest of the team. But I think they still think that Kirk Cousins can get them to the playoffs. I don't know. That's just me. Barnett could stay. He didn't have any flag. He hasn't had a flag all year long. Shocking, right? You cannot afford Brian Burns. He went 30 plus. Yeah, I mean, it's not about affording them next year. It's about affording them this year. Jimmy not smart. He thought Gannon was a. There are definitely people that are not fans of Jimmy, but he does know. He does know his cap numbers, and he understands contract details very well. He spent a lot of time studying cap and contract. So when you have a contract question, it's solid. Jonathan Allen just emphatically said he had enough of losing. I want every player in every sport to say they've had enough of losing. We need a fullback. Does Howie have more of the foundation of youth formula he used on Julio Jones to get us Mike Oscott? That would be hilarious. The fullback is a lost art in the NFL. A lost art in the NFL. And when a team has one still, I kind of get excited still. When I watch the 49ers play and I see Juszczyk back there, I kind of get excited. Old school, Keith Byers, some of the great fullbacks, John Ritchie. There's one other one I'm thinking of that I can't remember. I miss fullbacks. Kevin Byard's rank among starting safeties in coverage per PFF 2022 first, 2021 first. Really? He's still that highly ranked coming into this year. That's very interesting. I thought he tailed off a little bit, but I could be wrong there. That slime ball Gannon is good. He's just not a Philly guy. Arizona deserves him, but his record tells a story too. Gannon was so bad, not even funny. Have a seat. Look. I'll just say this. I will show a smidge of support for Jonathan Gannon. I'm glad he's gone. Sean Desai, 10 times the defense coordinator he ever was. We still had a top 10 defense last year, even under Gannon, which goes to show that maybe we would have had a top 3 defense last year if Jonathan Gannon wasn't in charge. But he still managed the top 10 defense last year, just so you know. Not cheater, just champ. It was such a cheater, you didn't even run the league back this year, or you did, and you didn't invite me. That's how much of a cheater you are. You didn't even let me or try to get my revenge on you. That's how much of a cheater you are, Peanut. There was no revenge opportunity for me. No chance at redemption. Steal the Jordan Matthews out from under Liam. Jordan Matthews is great. You'll never hear me say anything bad about Jordan Matthews. I would have overkill for – you would overkill for a Super Bowl. Okay, that's fine. I mean, I get it. I want another Super Bowl too. What's just excessive overkill might be Derrick Henry. But look, if they traded for Derrick Henry, I'm not going to cry about it. I might cry about it 2 years from now when we're paying the price, but I'm not going to cry about it if it gets us a Super Bowl. The biggest and best difference between Gannon and Desai is that Desai is constantly making adjustments. Absolutely, and the schemes are the same. This is 130% accurate. And that was what we said we heard about him coming into this season, was that Sean Desai, even when he wasn't the defensive coordinator, last year in Seattle when he was just an assistant, he would be the one that would go to the coordinator and say, these are the adjustments we need to make. That was his MO. He's great at adjusting on the fly. And he's proven that accurate this year. Ty Adams back. Barnett would be a starter on most teams. He's a backup. Honestly, I think people don't realize that Dark Barnett, he would start on a lot of teams. He would get more snaps. He would have more penalties. He would have more sacks also. But Dark Barnett is still a valuable, in a league that values edge rushers and defensive ends so highly. It is probably amongst GMs, they probably consider it the second most important position outside of quarterback on the football field. That's why you see the Bosas of the world, the Watts of the world get so much money. That's why you constantly see quarterbacks or defensive ends go in the top 5 of drafts, and offensive linemen. So it's really offensive linemen, defensive ends, and quarterbacks. That's it. That's where all the money and high draft picks go. It's one of the highest valued positions in the NFL. And if Dark Barnett was available, someone, thrown in a trade, they would be getting a starter for sure. I'm not saying he's great or anything, but he's better than people realize. Gannon was trash. Again, have a seat. His players been balling. Look, I'm not saying he was great or anything, but he took us to a Super Bowl. It was a top 10 defense. Henry will not get traded for a 6th-round pick. It's going to cost so much more than that. That's why I don't want him. What is Cousins doing up there other than wearing chains and collecting paychecks? Kirk Cousins is mediocre. Without a shadow of a doubt, Kirk Cousins is a mediocre quarterback. 2 teams have fullbacks. Well, obviously, Kyle Juszczyk with the 49ers. I don't know. I know I've seen 1 or 2 other people wear a number like 40-something in the NFL, but that's about it. I miss old school football like that. Devontae Smith going to want to way north $100 million. He is a number 1. He's gonna go. No, he's not. He's not going anywhere. Bad chatter. Stop it with that. Swift is nice. I don't really like Gainwell too much. Derrick Henry will definitely be an upgrade. At what cost, Will Smith? At what cost? That's the only question. At what cost? Mike Allscott is my favorite fullback. Was it John Ritchie or what was the Kevin Turner? Turner, the Eagles fullback that used to always have his nose broken and bleeding. That guy was cool to me. But yeah, I mean, Mike Allscott was a fullback that could actually run the ball too. Lorenzo Neal is also available. Another name. Hey, look, I guess this answers the question. All these different names were thrown around. Dirk Cheater is a cheater. Where did that come from? The Jordan Matthews interview. Gannon is super weirdo. I retired as champ. You will forever have to say no. You can't retire as a fantasy football champ. You can't do that. No such thing. You cheat and then you retire. It's a load of BS. Load of BS. I hear what you're saying, but forget all that. If you want to win, you have to spend it. That's fine. Like I said, Will, I'm not saying I'd be disappointed. If we got breaking news right now, 5 seconds from now on Twitter, Derrick Henry was an Eagle, I wouldn't complain about it at all. Zero, zilch, zippo. I'd be cool with it. I might complain about it 2 years from now. I'd be like, Howie Roseman overpaid, especially if we don't win the Super Bowl. It's overkill, but I would take it. It's just in my mind in the pecking order of what's important right now. It's number 5. It's overkill. I saw Kyler Murray is going to play this year despite being medically cleared. He isn't going to play. I don't know what's going on there with Kyler. If I was Kyler Murray, they've already made their intentions known that they don't want him there. I would refuse to play. I would not be surprised if Kyler Murray got traded by the deadline or if Kyler Murray got traded in the offseason. They're going to move on from him. Matthews was overrated. Had Butterfinger. He was actually overrated, Jordan Matthews. But for some reason, guys like him and Jason Avant, because we've had such bad wide receivers over the course of the last 35 years here in Philadelphia, certain really, really below average wide receivers, really stand out as guys that we latched onto. It's why people like bought into the Travis Fulgham hype so quickly. It's why Paul Turner hype happens every year. Jordan Matthews, Hank Baskett, Jason Avant, Kevin Curtis. They were such average guys, but we love them. Absolutely don't overkill for one Super Bowl. We have a window for multiple. This is a fantastic point, Judlin. How many times have I said on this show that we are at a point where if the Eagles don't make 3 or 4 Super Bowls over the next 6 or 7 years, I'm going to be disappointed. If the Eagles don't win 2 Super Bowls over the next 5, 6 years, I'm going to be disappointed. That's how we've got this window. It's open. It's open wide. You don't need overkill. You need just enough to win you a Super Bowl and then have enough left to win another Super Bowl next year, to become that dynasty that we want to be, that we think this team and franchise can be. I think this is a spot on point right here. So why wouldn't Titans do a Barnett by high value? It depends on the rest of the trade. Dark Barnett for Dark Henry, that's not a fair trade. But they would do it for a proper draft pick. I'm just saying we don't need him in that situation. Jordan Matthews was the best of the bad wide receivers in Philly. A debate could be made. He was the worst of the good wide receivers. That's an interesting way of phrasing it. He was the best of the bad and the worst of the good is an interesting aspect of it. If Brandon Graham or Josh Sackmaster Sweat got hurt, we will be happy they have Barnett. Ty, absolutely. Absolutely agree with you on that. Look, in a right deal, I'm fine moving Dark Barnett. But if a deal does not come along, I'm okay keeping him. I'm fine with it. Barnett brings a certain kind of nasty that spreads throughout their line. These players all have a role to play. Barnett is here for the reason. I think his dirty play, his bad play, his nasty play is a little overrated. He gets flagged a lot by reputation, and that's it. We'll catch up on these comments in a second. Real quick reset. It's 9:02, not 9 a.m. 9 a.m. in the morning here, trending in the AM on Philadelphia Sports Network. I am your host, Phil Stiefel. Follow me on all social media platforms, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Beard of Knowledge. We have 26 likes on YouTube, 6 on Facebook. Pound that like button. Hit that share button. Smash that follow, subscribe button. Let's do that. Let's help build this algorithm. Had a lot of people watching. A lot of new people commenting today, too. Let's keep sharing the show out. Keep hitting that like button up in that algorithm, guys. I greatly appreciate it. Right back to the comments. I'm shocked that teams like NOLA, Carolina, or Jacksonville calling about Barnett. They could use that help. Yeah. And look, I'm sure teams have called. I'm sure teams have called on Derek Barnett. I would be shocked if at least 2 GMs have not called. I don't have sources. My sources are my gut and my brain. And I'm telling you, I'd be shocked if multiple GMs have not called and asked Howie about Derek Barnett. And Howie Roseman probably said, sure, give me 5 first-round draft picks for him. You don't want to do that? All right, you counter that. That's right. Howie Roseman, somebody calls and asks for the equipment guy or the laundry guy. Howie's like, I need 2 first-round picks. That's how much of a shrewd negotiator Howie Roseman is. Took us Super Bowl because D-line had bailed him out. His players had tell him, yeah, so you're talking about Jonathan Gannon. Look, Jonathan Gannon, yeah, the team elevated him. Sure. I'm glad we're moved on from I don't know why we're talking about so much about Jonathan Gannon today. Don't need to. Kirk Cousins plays in Minnesota. He's probably shoveling snow. Yeah, I mean, look, Kirk Cousins, I don't even know where to go on the Kirk Cousins conversation anymore. Phil, my brother, about 10 years ago, won all of his leagues and retired from fantasy football. So, yes, don't you dare, Duck, take Peanut's side of this equation. It was a 1-year league, okay? I live streamed the draft, and Peanut was smart enough to watch me live stream it and talk about players I wanted and sniped me on at least a half a dozen guys. And I started, 1-3, 1-4, managed to make the championship against Peanut. And the guys he sniped me beat me that week in the championship. I'll never, ever, for the life of me, forget that moment. I will hold a grudge against Peanut forever. Freddie Mitchell, man. Freddie Mitchell was one of those guys we love. Freddie Mitchell did absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing in his time here. He made like 3 catches. Still, we loved Freddie Mitchell. We loved the personality. We loved him. Jason Avant was just slow. He had great hands. Dude, he was a great third down. And you had a 3rd and 6. And if he would run a route past the sticks, he was catching it every time. Problem is, he couldn't run further than 6 yards to get past anybody. That's it. James Thrash and Todd Pinkston is one of the most famous people that have ever blocked me. And it wasn't even like my fault. Like I just said, I didn't even say Stinkston. I just said he wasn't very good, and then I followed it up with but he was better than fans give him credit for. Injuries, whatever, but he didn't see the second part. And he just blocked it. James Thrash, Kevin Curtis. We could go back further. Torrance Small, and what was the guy opposite of Torrance Small? Charles Johnson. There have been some bad wide receivers that have rolled through the hallways of Lincoln Financial Field. No, keep the 9 draft picks we have next year. We have 8 now after the trade yesterday. We had 10. We got 8. Makes no sense to compromise our best unit for a running back who, if he was almost any other human, would be out of the league hurt. He's not any other human. He's not hurt. That is a key thing there. But yes, I agree. I'm not doing the Derrick Henry. I know a lot of Eagles fans are on the Derrick Henry train. I won't cry if it happens. I'm just not pushing for it personally. When was the last time you saw a quarterback throw a pick six and lose a fumble and still win a game? Well, only the great Jalen Hurts can do that. Why? Because the complete opposite of the Phillies last night. When the going got tough, the Phillies hung their heads and sulked. When the going gets tough, Jalen Hurts gets better. Almost want Jalen Hurts making a mistake early in the game. Because it just fuels him even more. Because he knows the hate's out there. We talked about it a little yesterday. There are so many people that just couldn't wait, Eagles fans and non-Eagles fans, to come out of the woodwork when Jalen Hurts struggles. They hope, they pray that he fails. They want him. There are Eagles fans that want Jalen Hurts to fail. They were happy that he struggled to start the game. What Eagles fan would be happy about that? Yet as soon as Jalen Hurts led that team to a win and made that huge throw to A.J. Brown, which was an excellent throw, which I don't think people realize how tough for him to step in with that guy barreling down on him. That was. All those people that were crushing Jalen Hurts, they all got awfully quiet like that. Like they just disappeared so quickly. You got 2 million, Devontae, 2 million left this year. That doesn't talk. We're not talking about next year. We have 2 million left that we can spend this year, man. Chatter. Relax on the Devontae Smith chat right now. Good morning, Michael. Welcome to the show. You're an hour late, but you're here. We got 23 minutes left for you to get your thoughts in. I got your source right here. Yeah. Funk Master Flex. I love the Funk Master Flex. Duck sounds like a very smart man. You know what? Peanut and Duck, you're going to be the new tag team champs. You're the tag team, and I'm going to beat you for the titles. Okay. I don't even need a partner. Okay. I don't need a partner to beat you to be tag team champ. Howie with his magic. Howie was magical yesterday, for sure. Jalen Reagor or JJ. So these guys weren't guys that we like. We never liked JJ or Reagor. We hated them from day one. So I don't know about that. I would trade Avant. I would take Avant on this team. Very good slot wide receiver. Yeah, Jason Avant's skill set is something you need. You need guys that catch the ball. I mean, no offense to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. They've had some drops. Dallas Scott, they've had some drops this year. I make very good arguments on everything. And I also, see, that's what makes me so special. I make good arguments to counter your points, guys. But I also find ways to justify your points and help you guys out. I see everything both ways. It's not about my thoughts. It's about your thoughts. That's why I say where your opinions actually matter. Since he's been playing, he played in all games. How great is that? Yeah. When Eagles fans want to see an Eagles player fail, racist ones, that's who. It's possible. There's a lot to it. That could be part of it for sure. Some of them for sure. It's partly why the NFL doesn't want him to be the face of the NFL, probably. Yeah, I did it, pulled the race card. Hey, it's okay. It's fine. I don't like to have those serious conversations on the show. We have had serious conversations when the Brian Flores situation happened. You know, we had a deep conversation about that kind of stuff on this show. We did. But I try to keep it light. I get very uncomfortable having to have serious conversations. It gets me too worked up and too upset. Look, it's something that he said. It's great, or not great. It's agreeable. I'm agreeing in it. I just don't think it needed to be said, honestly, because I think we all realize that. We wonder why Jalen Hurts isn't the face of the league, but we know why. Exactly. I mean, I've known it when I've been talking for weeks and weeks that the NFL should be making him the face of the league, but they won't. That's basically what I'm getting at. It's basically what I've been saying. Reggie Brown, he was a terrible wide receiver. How he uses the Jedi mind trick with other GMs. Look, Howie Roseman's GM trade negotiating tactics. Nobody better. without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, I, honestly, if 215 was the area code on my caller ID, I'm like, ignore, plain and simple. He would call me and trade for my pizza shop, and I'd walk away broke. I don't know. Like he could do anything. I'd end up with 5 more dogs in my house and no pizza shop. My thoughts are Howie can bamboozle and use a fifth or sixth for rental, but Swift is good. Absolutely. Yes, the Brian Flores. Duck. I was 2 networks ago, I think, when the Brian Flores thing happened to mine. I wish maybe I was still with DSM. I don't know. I wish I could find it for you. I mean, it was back then. I was doing an hour only, and it got really, really not heated, but very, very deep the conversation. And I try to avoid deep conversations. I don't mind touching on the hard hitting topics. I don't, but I try. I like to have fun more than be serious. I could be serious if necessary, but it was a total travesty. And yes, and look, I felt bad for for McDaniels having to take over in that situation. He wasn't going to turn down his opportunity for him to have a head coaching job, but the Flores situation, and I agree with your second comment. He needs a head. He will be a head coach again. It's not he needs another chance. He will get that chance. I wish I could find that episode and share it with you, just so you can see. I don't mind having those deep conversations. I just choose not to. Agreed. I feel like Howie got pictures of GMs and hookers. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. He's got pictures of other GMs with Party Doll Dave. That's what he's got, and that's what he shares. Just so you know, it probably likely Hurt's going to be on Madden cover soon. He could be Taylor Swift next year, though. I love it. I love the Taylor Swift thing there. Maybe Hal will buy the pizza shop. I wish he would. I wish he would. Um, that would be great. What's the best item on your menu at the pizza shop? Isn't it pizza? Just open the menu, point to anything, and it's the best. That's how I describe it. And the 49ers lost 2 in a row. Yeah, that vaunted 49ers team. We're really supposed to be ultra scared of them now, aren't we? The Brock Purdy is the next Tom Brady train. It's kind of sinking fast, isn't it? Like, isn't it? I'm just saying. Like, I still think the 49ers are a good team, just like I think the Cowboys are still a good team. They're just a different class and a different level than the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles are still the class of the NFC. And yes, the Eagles have in 2 weeks starts a very, 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 very tough stretch of schedule coming. No doubt about it. But at this moment, after 7 weeks of football, the Eagles are the class of the NFC. And they're neck and neck with the Chiefs for the class of the NFL. They will be number 2 in my power rankings this week, the Eagles. Chiefs will be 1, Eagles will be 2. How the rest of it plays out, I have no clue. But 2 losses in a row for the 49ers. They lost to P.J. Walker or whoever was the quarterback of the Browns and Kirk Cousins in the last 2 weeks. So 49ers fans can shut the hell up for just a little bit. My brother can shut the hell up for just a little bit. In fact, I didn't even text him to rub it in. I let it be. Maybe I'll text him today. I don't want the NFL to make Jalen Hurts the face. I want Jalen to take it because that's what champions do. And missed him, and that is what Jalen's doing. He is trying to take the face. He's trying to take the lead in the NFL over. They're just going to hold him back. The reason why the brotherly shove is so, hated is because it makes Jalen Hurts better. It puts him in front and center of the league even more. The 40 Winers, I'm going to call my brother today and say, the 40 Winers, how are your 40 Winers doing? When Hurts struggled, now not a peep. Love karma. Absolutely. Losing to primetime Kirk Cousins is worse than getting shut out by the Panthers. Dude, I don't know if there's anything worse than losing to primetime Kirk Cousins. I mean, it's not like Kirk Cousins has been bad like once or twice on primetime. Jeremy, and thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your comment. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button, follow button. Welcome to the Trending in the AM family. Every morning, 8 a.m. right here, live, with your thoughts and opinions. But honestly, Kirk Cousins has lost like 1,000 times in primetime. Like, that is probably one of the worst. You can week 17 and a team is 0-16 and you lose to that 0-16 team in week 17. That is not as bad as losing to primetime Kirk Cousins. He is the worst primetime quarterback in the history of the NFL, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, it's shocking. It's shocking that happened. Shocking that it happened. And you know what? I couldn't be happier. I don't even know what to do with my power. Like I started like taking notes for my power rankings to release today. We'll talk about them tomorrow. I started taking notes. I was like, I don't know what to do with the 49ers. I don't know what to do with the Lions or the Bills or any of these teams. Like I have no clue what to do with so many teams because there are the Chiefs and the Eagles and then everybody else. And everybody else loses games they shouldn't. And it's pathetic. I think in his long career, Cousins has only won like 2 primetime games, now 3. I remember once seeing a stat before when it was like he was like 1-12 or 1-13, maybe it was last year. So maybe he's 1-2. Maybe I'm off a little bit, but it realistically is like 2-12, 1-13, something like that going into last night. It's pretty pathetic. It really is. You know, you don't get much worse. Is absolutely. Look, there's a lot. Look, I'm an Eagles fan, diehard, bleed it. I hate the Cowboys, but I still think Dak Prescott gets crapped on a little too much. Dak Prescott's not a great quarterback, but there are a lot of quarterbacks that start in this league that aren't on Dak Prescott's level. Dak Prescott in another city, in another organization, might have had a better career up to this point, but he's in Dallas. And Dallas will never be true competition for us in Philly as long as Jerry Jones runs that team, runs that organization, without a shadow of a doubt. Jerry Jones has held Dak Prescott back a little bit. He might be the 12th or 14th best quarterback in the league right now. And he might only, if somewhere else, might be the 10th best. But Kirk Cousins is just a stat pattern. Shut up, brother Phil, with your great hair. He's got beautiful hair. Um, Blankenship and Byard went to the same college. Is that right, Ty? That's good, deep Kevin Byard knowledge. I was busy as hell yesterday. Then when that news broke, I got super excited, but I was interviewing people. I was working, making pizzas. I had a very busy day yesterday. So I took like 4 notes down, and then I got busy and just stopped taking notes. So, you know, I, I don't know a lot about Kevin Byard other than he's a 2-time All-Pro player. Plain and simple. Dolphins are the best, and you own them. So who else worries you if you cover Kelsey? Well, you still got to cover Kelsey. That's another whole thing. And look, I don't want to take anything away from the Dolphins either. The Dolphins and Dolphins fans are crying all over. Well, we beat them, but they had all these guys injured. We did too. But I will give the Dolphins credit. They have 3 starting defensive backs out, 3 starting offensive linemen out. Jalen Waddle missed half the game. One of their running backs was out. Look, they're injured. So you know what? Come Super Bowl, if they happen to be the team and they were healthy, it would be a hell of a battle. We'll just leave it at that. Have the Cowboys fallen off your top 10 power rankings? They are in the 9 to 12 range right now. I haven't done them. So I've got them listed in the top 10 portion, but I have from 9 through like 15 that I'm not sure who the final 2 teams are going to be. They're probably going to be 9 or 10 in my power rankings, the Cowboys. I'm just going to say that. They probably are. I still think they're a good team. There's just such a discrepancy between the Chiefs and the Eagles and the rest of the NFL. Brother Phil, the guy that can't pick teams. No, I don't even know. I thought you were calling me Brother Phil. Dak is playing JG's game and not his. He's always been and should have always been a game manager, and Dallas wins the Super Bowl in that time. Yeah, look, I think see the thing is like Dak Prescott in college, Mississippi State, I think it was. I was a fan back then. I wanted the Eagles to draft him. Uh, you know, I think that in a different situation, if he would have gone to another city, he would have been a good quarterback. Not much better than he is right now. I'm not saying he would have been the next Tom Brady, but instead of being the 12th or 13th best quarterback in the league, he might be the 9th or 10th. He's got a skill set there. He's just in a bad. Dallas is just going to always be just barely good enough to be relevant and never good enough to really truly compete. As long as Jerry Jones is calling the shots. That's it. Look on the bright side. Phillies lost, but that means good content for tonight. No football. Look, you guys are all lucky the Phillies lost. Because if the Phillies won and we're going to the World Series, well, we'd be talking nothing about the Phillies today. We'd be having a Phillies celebration today. Now, if the Phillies win tonight, we'll be having a Phillies celebration tomorrow. There ain't no doubt about it. There's no way you did. If the Phillies make the World Series, we're celebrating. And don't forget, Thursday's going to be a lot of Sixers talk. A lot of Sixers talk as the season gets started. I'm going to start working on finding some guests to come on, give us some Sixers insight, some NBA insight into the show. But it's going to be all Sixers on. Well, not all, but a lot of Sixers on Thursday. It'll be a lot of Phillies tomorrow, win or lose tonight. Whether we're celebrating a World Series appearance tomorrow morning or celebrate or depressed in what went wrong conversation tomorrow, that will be had. There's no way you could get around it. Can't wait for the Eagles to stomp the cow ladies. Absolutely. Absolutely. You said your brother with good hair. Like, oh, that, yeah. Gotcha. Sorry. Lost. I get lost in the comments sometimes, my man. All the Dolphin fans were blaming the refs at the game because we didn't get any penalties caused. And look, they've got an argument to be made there, Adam. We talked about it yesterday. I forget the exact numbers, but Kyle had put them up. Look, it's almost impossible. It's been like 6 years since the Eagles have gone a game with no penalty. It's been like 10 years for the Eagles and like 4 years for the NFL. No penalties just don't happen. Now, the refs were terrible, and the Dolphins have a room to complain, but we still have room to complain on the refs too because they missed a bunch of like they had 10 penalties, the Dolphins, but there was 4 or 5 that were missed, and there were a whole lot of offsetting penalties. The refs were atrocious on Sunday night on both sides. It didn't lean one way or the other. It's just the way the game played out. But the refs, the Dolphins fans have a reason to complain. There's a reason why it's been a long ass time since an Eagles team has gone a game with 0 sacks. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't. I like baseball in October. That's why we call it Red October for our Phillies. Here, you know what? Just for good luck for the Phillies. Just for good luck. For the final 5 minutes here, 7 minutes of this show, we'll go back to Red October as our color for the thumbnail down at the bottom of the screen. It wasn't really good. There's a better red right there. We will go back to Red October to close the show out here for the final 5 to 10. Do the Phillies get the deed done tonight? Are we back in the World Series tomorrow morning? Are we talking about it? Let me ask you guys. If you had a confidence meter, 0, 10, where's your? I'm wavering in that 5, 6 right now. I am. I'm not overly confident. Dolphins tears. Dolphins are swimming in the tears. Why do y'all keep saying we didn't have penalties? We had a few of them. They were just yeah, absolutely. I said I get it. There were penalties all across. The refs were atrocious. That's all that matters. Let's go. We're talking Phillies. Let's go Phils. And of course, we've got 3 straight hell yes from Duck. That means they are. They are. They're going back to the World Series tomorrow. Like I'm very confident that the Phillies win tonight. All hands on deck. You've got Ranger Suarez, who is strong in the postseason, going tonight. Just the offense has got to wake up. The offense has got to wake up. Can't be all on the pitching staff tonight. James Bradbury looks very suspect this season. Am I the only one that sees it? James Bradbury and Darius Slay have not been as elite as they were last year. They're still good. They're just not elite. I did dabble in the conversation. James Bradbury was an okay cornerback throughout his career that had an elite season last year. There had to be a little negative regression there from him. So, but also, let's not discount the fact that he's had a bounce into the slot. There has been no slot corner. The safeties have been ravaged with injuries all year, so the back end help isn't always there. There's a lot of factors playing into how James Bradbury and Darius Slay have looked this year. So, take all that into account when you're talking about it. That, there's more to it than just he's regressing, which he has a little bit. But both our starting quarterbacks are north of 30. Let's be honest. So James Bradbury was a good cornerback that had a great season. And now he's coming back down to being good. It is what it is. Hot take. I got lots of hot takes. Adam's got the Phillies win 8-2 in the World Series. And if the Phillies win 8-2 tonight, that'd be great. And I'll be doing circles on this show tomorrow. And excited as all hell. Bradbury and Slay are getting older. They're a little slower. It's fine. You just need the over-the-top help from the safety. And when Reed Blankenship comes back and having Kevin Byard in the equation now, that will help James Bradbury and Darius Slay immensely going forward. It is going to make them better. I put cornerback for biggest need for a reason. I would not be shocked if the Eagles make another cornerback or safety, or maybe they go out and find a guy. There's plenty of guys out there that are a hybrid that can play safety but also can cover. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if Howie makes another move. maybe not a starting level guy like Kevin Byard, but a depth piece, a backup, upgrade that guy like Justin Evans or I mean, he didn't play bad this week, Josiah Scott, but improve upon Josiah Scott. It would not shock me one iota if Howie Roseman makes another secondary addition in the next we got it was 7 days. Week from the day, 4 p.m. Halloween. You know it's going to suck. The trade deadline is going to come down to the wire. One of the 3 busiest days in pizza shops across the country is Halloween. And 4 o'clock is when the dinner rush starts on Halloween, about 3:30, 4 o'clock. And I'm going to be on my phone trying to keep up with any trade deadline deals, yet I'm going to get my ass kicked also on the side because I'm going to be making a million pizzas. It's going to be a really sketchy time for me on Halloween with the trade deadline. The NFL really didn't think of me and other pizza shop owners across the country when they made the deadline on Halloween. I'm just saying. Chin said he too hurt. Yeah, Chin's done basically. There's no chance you're getting Chin. They give Ricks and Ringo a few more cycle ins. They need to limit the Joby use. Yeah, I mean Ricks actually. I saw the stat numbers on. I think he didn't give up a completion. He wasn't credited with giving up a completion in his plays out there. Eli Ricks played really well. Kellen Ringo, you got to get these guys some experience. You know, now that you got Byard and you're getting Blankenship back soon, maybe you start cycling these guys in a little bit more here and there. 5 plays here, 3 plays there. Get them some experience, in-game action, and it helps. Maybe Ringo and Ricks are the future of the secondary, or supposed to be. So we got to get them the experience. Let's do it. But I wouldn't be shocked on the flip side if Howie said, "Nah, we're a Super Bowl team. We're not giving them experience right now. We're going to go get another veteran." I wouldn't be shocked. I really like Eli Ricks as the future quarterback. Yeah, he definitely's got some boom potential. You know, I know we got excited about his pick 6 in the preseason, but he's got skills. Do I like Boston Scott returning kicks? Of course I do. And let's not forget that one touchdown drive that we had was set up by a big kick return by Boston Scott. Kick returners are meaningless in the NFL anymore. You know, you return one kick a game basically. You know, it really is. But once in a while, you bust one. Once in a while, you bust one. Do the Eagles have corner in the first round as a must in the draft this offseason, or right tackle? I don't know. The Eagles will almost never draft a cornerback in the first round. What was Lito Shepard the last time? What was that, like 99, 2000 last time they drafted a first round cornerback? It's just not a thing. They draft offensive line, quarterback, wide receiver, defensive line. That's it. The only thing you'll see Howie Roseman ever use a first round pick is the trenches, a quarterback, or a wide receiver. That's it. You're never going to see him use a first round pick on any other position, probably at this point. Doesn't matter what the team needs. That's what he's going to do. Desai might get a head coaching job next season. Yeah, I mean, Desai might. Brian Johnson still might. People still value Brian Johnson. I don't think we didn't talk about it. I'm going to write it down. We'll talk a little Brian Johnson tomorrow on the show as we get ready to wrap today up. But Brian Johnson had a good game, and he's highly touted as a future head coach. So if the Eagles make a run to the Super Bowl again this year, that's the thing. With great success comes great loss. In all sports, you lose your assistants. It's the way it works. The Eagles have Isaiah Rodgers too, but he's suspended. I forgot about that. That was a huge move by Howie Roseman bringing him in. Do not forget about that. He is a great young cornerback. Ty, refreshing me. I'm going to write his name down so I don't forget. Maybe I'll bring that up again tomorrow. I totally forgot. I mean, there's no guarantee he's brought back even and reinstated next year. You know, who knows? There's also, a chance that, some players respond well, some don't when they come back after missing a full year of football. So we'll see. There's a very low risk, very, 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 very high reward in bringing Isaiah Rodgers in. It's a fantastic point, Ty. One of the best comments of the day right there. 2024 draft is loaded with O linemen. Can probably find a starter or two. Yeah, I mean, Cam Jurgens is now a right guard, so you still need a center, and you're going to need a right tackle for a future to replace Lane Johnson. Although Tyler Steen might that. We'll have the power rankings tomorrow. While I'm dancing and cheering on the Phillies World Series berth, we will go over my power rankings. It'll be on Twitter this morning sometime, but tomorrow morning we'll talk about him. Isaiah Rodgers is a dog. He's got so much potential. So much potential. We are at the 9:30 mark. I got to fire through these last couple. We got to wrap it up. I go over to Liam and complain about how you have the 49ers in top 10. Dude, they're still going to be in the top 5. I ain't going to lie to you. They're not falling out of the top 5. They still might be number 3. It's either going to be the Dolphins, Dolphins, Niners, or Ravens at 3. I doubt Desai stays only 1 year. Dan Quinn had many offers. Yeah, I mean, it depends on how the season goes. And it also depends on how many coaching opportunities there are. And the only thing that stands in Sean Desai's way of getting a job after 1 year is that so few defensive coaches become head coaches anymore. And the ones that have recently, for the most part, haven't had major success. So, it is what it is. That's right. Great show. As always, thank you, Adam. Thank you to everybody. 2-0 Phillies, going to be a nail biter. 2-0. Talk about a low score. I don't need that. I want the 8-2 prediction of Adam, from earlier. That's what I need. My power rankings are always great. Power rankings are subject to discussion, though. All right, we're going to wrap up Trend in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the follow button, subscribe button. 31 likes on YouTube, 7 on Facebook. If you're watching on replay, it still helps to get that like button hit, to hit that share button, subscribe. Tune in live. If you're watching this on replay, tune in live. 8 a.m. every day. Get your voice heard. Almost 300 comments today on the show. And this is what it's all about. You, the listener, I appreciate each and every one of you today that have commented. The core 12, the trending 12, the chat 12, whatever you want to go by. I appreciate each and every one of you. But I also appreciate all the new people that tuned in today, the part-time people that tuned in today. Appreciate each and every one of you. Desai was getting groomed for a head coaching job in Seattle. He was the assistant head coach. Absolutely. He will be head coach, whether it's next year or the year after that, without a shadow of a doubt. For Philadelphia Sports Network, I am Phil Stiefel. Follow me on all social media platforms at Beard of Knowledge. Y'all have a great day. Go Phillies. Ring that damn bell. Let's get back to the World Series, and let's have fun tomorrow celebrating the World Series. Everybody have a great day. Go Phillies.